This video is to show you how we're going to change over the machine from the small bag to the large bag. So we have a small bag with handle. As you can see, I have everything out of adjustment right now. And then we're going to, once we're done with the small bag, we're now then going to go to the big hand bag with handle and set the machine up to run. So when you turn the machine on, screen looks like this. Let me see if I can take this off. The screen looks like this. And everything, the conveyor is now running. It's waiting for product. There's a limit switch here that when it has product, the conveyor stops running. So without any product on the conveyor, it's going to run to try and satisfy this switch. So there's a feature that we have that's called reload conveyor. So we press this, and when I press that button, you'll see the suction cups come up into position, the conveyor stops, and that rake table moves back. So this is our rake table that actually pushes the bags onto the receiving conveyor. If I want to move the rake table out, they have some buttons here that I can actually turn the vacuum on. And you hear the vacuum now sucking on the suction cups. Or I can turn the rake table on. And if you watch, I'll turn it on, I'll turn it off. I'll turn it on, I'll turn it off. So you can simulate pushing the bags onto the receiving conveyor. It's important for setup. And then we can go back to run screen when we're done. So right now I'm going to leave in reload conveyor screen, and I'm going to go through all my settings on how to set up the bag. So first thing that we notice is that my suction cups are not coming far enough in to grab the bag. So you would loosen these ratchet handles back here, and that allows us to move the cylinder and the suction cups together in order to get the bags, or to move the suction cups back enough to get the bags. We'll move it back to about maybe a ½ inch or so beyond the end of the conveyor so that it plunges in and gets a bag. And then we'll tighten down these ratchet handles. So that's the adjustment of the suction cups to grab the bag. When they come in, they're going to grab the bag and pull the bag out. There's a vacuum sensor here that detects when we have a bag and tells the suction cups to return and place the bag down. So this vacuum sensor, it's digital, will be activated when the bag is sucked onto the suction cups and turn green and say, I've got the bag, take the bag and place it down on the table. Next, we'll probably want to adjust the height of our hold down straps. And as you can see, I have them, and I have a backdrop here that is spring loaded. It also has a bar extension, which we can remove for this bag because it's so small. So I'm going to take the bar extension off. Also, we have, for some of the bags, another piece of plastic, which gives us a larger backdrop for the bags to support them better. We don't really need it for these small bags. So I'm going to move that out of the way and just bring my backstop into here to hold my bag so that it'll allow me to. And if you see, if I turn the vacuum on, it sucks the bag right in, right up to the switch. And if I release the bag, it pushes it right back again. So we'll drop our upper hold down straps down so that they go in front of the bag. So right about there, looks good. We have this bar that we can adjust. You want the bags to just clear the top of this as they come out of the machine. You don't want it to hit there. And you want these straps to just hold down the bag so that when the bags don't tip over or fall out of the machine. So even this one, I'll put it towards the edge. You just want to grab that last tip of the bag there and the tip of the bag here and have a hold down strap there. So that's good adjustment there. Next, we need to move the rail in. And by the way, when I do adjust these suction cups back here in and out, there is a scale back here, and right now I'm set at 230 millimeters, which is roughly the width of this bag. So you set the scale up you measure the width of the bag in millimeters, and that's the setting you would put on that scale. Next, I'm going to loosen the ratchet handle here and adjust the in-feed conveyor in till it's kissing the bag. So now I have that kissing the bag, and I'm going to lock it down. So that's my adjustment for the rail. You'll also see on my rail that I have the ability to slide this rail independently in and out, which is what we need to do for the bigger bags. So for the bigger bags, I'll need to bring this back, and for the smaller bags, I move it forward. So for the smaller bags, we'll just move this all the way forward. And tighten it down. Because we have handles that hang out over the edge here. We want the handles to clear these ratchet handles. We want these handles of the bag to come down this conveyor very nicely. You'll also see some other devices like here. This is used for the larger bag. When we get to the larger bag, this is used to hold that bag erect from falling out or tipping over. And we'll use that when we get to the larger bag. Likewise, in the back of the machine, we have an adjustment back here to move this in and out to hold the bag, as well as the adjustment here to actually raise it and lower. If I loosen this, I can raise and lower it. Again, it's used for bigger bags. The small bag, we only need to hold it at the top and along the bottom. Now that I have the rails adjusted, the height adjusted, the suction cups adjusted, I can load bags into the machine. And I wanted to show you how versatile this is, because from one bag type to the other, you don't need to change anything. So we have brown bags, pink bags, white bags. It doesn't matter the color or the type of bag in the machine. We'll just load them in here and let the machine run. So we should be able to just run with all these different bags. And now when we're done, we could go back to the run screen. Now the speed of the machine could be sped up a little bit. There's an air adjust knob back here, which you can open it counterclockwise for the machine to go faster, or clockwise to go slower. Depending on how well the bags are running, you can keep increasing that speed and try to run as fast as you can. With these bags, we'll probably run around 45 to 50 bags a minute. So right now, from the main screen, you can see that I have a one-shot mode. So here I can press one shot, and I can feed one bag. So when I go to feed one bag, it'll grab one bag, place it down on the rake table, and try to push the bag onto the receiving conveyor. But you can see the one thing that I forgot to adjust was the rake table. So now, the rake table, that adjustment is done down below. There's a ratchet handle underneath the machine that we would use to adjust the rake table. So let me do that. So we're going to loosen the ratchet handle for the rake table, slide the rake table in till the bag is kissing the peak of these wheels, which would be the peak of the wheels on the receiving conveyor, and then we're going to tighten the ratchet handle back down. So if you look at that, here's our table out and our table in. So I'm going to turn on the receiving conveyor. I'm going to place the bag down. and I'm going to push that bag onto the receiving conveyor. So let's go back to the run screen and let's feed one bag. So I'm going to press the one-shot screen and I'm going to press the feed one bag. That appears to be pretty good. Now I'm going to go to run screen and I'm going to tell it to feed, let's say 50 bags, because that'll get us through all the different variations. And then I'm going to hit start. Okay. This is good. Things like this happen. And I can see right away that one of my bags got hung up around the pins. And this is one more thing that you'll have to remember to do. That when you don't use, you have a smaller bag, you need to take out some of the pins. These pins just come in and out very easily. And they're not needed for all the bags. So if the handle's going to get stuck on a pin, make sure that you remove the pins, set the pins somewhere, and then that shouldn't happen again. So let me just start again. Okay, so you can see that it tried to get the bag, and the suction cup didn't get it because the bag's not forward far enough. You could just see that my rail's a little too tight, and I need to back the rail out for it to get the bag. Or I may need to have the suction cup plunge in further to grab the bag. If I'm running, I should be able to just reload bags, more bags from here. So it's that simple to take bags when you're running. I'm going to grab more bags from the end here. I'm just going to grab a variation of bags. And I'm going to place them on the back side of the machine, drop them on the conveyor, and we're just going to start back up again. As you can see, I got different colors. I'm just going to back this rail out just a little bit. I've got various colors, and I'm going to continue right here. So I did, you can pause or stop at any time and clear any kind of jam. There's a stop and a pause here, and you can start back up again. Okay, this is good that that's happening. Again, it's not coming all the way out here, so I might need to reload while you're running. And when it gets to the end, it should stop. So I noticed that there was no bags left, so it stopped the machine. Now I'm going to go through the changeover to the bigger bag. Now we're going to show how to switch from the small bag that we just ran to the bigger bag. So we just ran a bunch of these small bags. That the machine is still set up for this small bag, as you can see. We're going to switch over to the big bag. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put into reload conveyor, like I instructed before. That brings the suction cups up to here and allows me to adjust the cylinder. It's very important that you don't reload the system unless you're in reload conveyor. So we're going to get rid of the small bag and go to the big bag. So with this big bag, you can see it's much bigger. much taller. So we could just pull the rail out to, pull the rail out to allow for this bag to fit in here. But the mechanism I have to help hold the bag won't reach all the way in. Of course, I could probably just get a longer shaft. Okay, so I got a longer shaft here, so we don't have to move the rail in and out. I think that makes our life easier. So we'll just leave this here. And now you can see that I've adjusted the width of this conveyor and I'm going to lock it down. So there's a lock to maintain the width between the back rail and the front rail. Of course, if you need to move the bag forward at all, there are adjustments in the back rail to bring it forward, but our recommendation is to just adjust the front rail. So next, you can see this bag is much taller, so we're going to add our extension to our backstop. So this just screws in and gives us our extension to hold the bag against the backstop. Next, you'll see that our front guides are way too low, so I need to loosen this ratchet handle. Shaft. I can do that and leave this. And I'm just going to set it up high for now. I'm going to bring the bag in, and you can see it's too tight up here, so it needs to go up higher yet. You want to get it so that just the bag clears the underside of this bracket. And so it's still a little tight, but to help me out, I'm going to move this rail in to hold the bag. I'm going to move this back one in, and I want to raise it up. So I'm going to raise it up to the middle to support the bag there and to support the bag here. And now you can still see that I'm a little too tight on the top, so I'm going to go a little bit higher. That should clear it right there. That looks good. Just clears the top. Next, our bag is our bag is very long, so we're going to have to move the conveyor back, because if you look here, there's not going to be enough place to set the bag down on the table. We need a lot more space, so we got to move the conveyor back out of the way so that we can make the room on the rake table for this bag. Also, you can see that the suction cups all need to be spread out more, so it's probably a good idea that we loosen up these handles here and adjust this suction cup maybe about 1 inch in from the inside, and we're going to bring this one all the way back to the outside. And adjust these suction cups so that they're grabbing the bag here and there. And now if we measure the length of this bag, you'll see that it's 400 millimeters long, 405. So that's our clue to kind of come down here and adjust the conveyor to the 405 millimeter mark. So if you look down here, there's a ratchet handle to loosen up the conveyor, and now it's set right now at 230 millimeters, and I want to bring it all the way back to 400. So we just slide the conveyor back, and it might be best just to pull the conveyor back like this to the 400 mark. So we're at 365, and I believe I have a stop set all the way in the back. So I'm going to pull it all the way back to the back stop. There's a little stop back here. Now let's start with it right there against the stop. So now, you see we have the room on a rake table for the bag. The rake table is going to need to be pushed back where and the suction cups are going to have to move back. So first we'll move the suction cups back. So in order to do that, we're going to loosen up the two ratchet handles back here. on the main cylinder. And we're going to slide that main cylinder back, bringing those suction cups with it all the way back to where now they're going to plunge in and grab that bag. So let's go right about there and tighten down. And here as well, the setting on the ruler is at a 410 millimeter. So we're going to start with that setting at 410 millimeter on the scale. And now if we put our bag back in here, you'll see we got all our rail adjustments here. We got our suction cups adjusted. Now we adjust the rake table. And with this rake table, because we have such a wide bag, I'm going to put the pins back in to push this bag. So we're going to make sure we have full pins all the way across the table. And next, we need to move that table back. So to do that, we loosen up the ratchet handle on the rake table. We slide the rake table back, all the way back, put our bag in here, and we'll advance the table out so that it just pushes the bag under the wheels, and then tighten the that rake table into position. So you can see here, it'll push the bag, it'll just pinch it under the wheels, which is just what we want it to do. So now we're ready to load bags into the machine. I'd say we got things pretty well set. So I want to make sure that, so to load the bags, you just grab a bunch of bags. In this case, I grabbed a variety of pink ones, white ones, and brown ones. And I'm going to place them into the machine. So I'm just going to set them in here, drop them between the walls, bring it up to the suction cups, make sure it's between the walls of the system. We might need to lower this down a little bit. That looks pretty good right there. Might want to bring this in just a little bit more. I usually like to have them like a ½ inch in the middle here and over here. We might want to lower this down just a little bit. I think it's better to have it below the handle so the handles don't get stuck on it. An inch below, probably. And now we're ready to go back to the run screen. So we should be able to feed it back. Let's see what happens. Okay, that's good. And now let's run 30 bags and see what happens. You can see it doesn't matter what color the bag is. There we go.